Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to be with you here at London Film Festival. Thanks a lot for taking the time. Can you give us a brief intro to your film? What can people expect when they come to watch it?
How do you do? It's very much of a pleasure to be in the BFI for the first time. Just arrived from Buenos Aires. They say the body travels by plane and the soul by donkey. So excuse me. My film, The Souffleur, is the closing of a trilogy I made in Vienna. I don't live in Vienna, but it's somehow an odd chain of coincidence that led me to start making this trilogy. The first, the passing of a friend who used to direct the film festival in Vienna, Hans Hursch, like 9 years ago or so. And then I made a film during the pandemics. These were called Introducción al Oscuro and A Little Lab Package. My films are made without a script. They somehow are essay, fiction, documentary, often at the same time. And this film has a particularity. It's the first time I work with not just an actor, but perhaps one of the great actors, perhaps the greatest actor, Willem Dafoe, who is known to be open to experimenting, not just in the large films, but also in the more experimental or less conventional narratives. And it was really a challenge for both of us. We dragged each other into the mud. We both exited our register, whatever my register was, before I got into this. But it was, very generous from him and also very courageous at his stage of his career to open himself to such risks. Of course, it was very difficult to accommodate these different, I was always wondering where the film would land, closer to my world or his. And in the end, it sort of landed in the middle, which is the most dangerous zone, a zone that it's very indefinite. And it has a lot of the problems of a large film and of the small film. But that's the price we pay for having quite of a rare creature, in which I also was dragged to be in front of the camera that I'm not used to doing. But this was part of the game, that it's non-professional actors working with Willem, and this combination of tendernesses and gestures that often are, let's say, more difficult to grasp on certain kind of fiction. So I think people who come to the film, they might feel a little challenged, but at the same time, there's a generosity. I think people who get into these films, they feel there's a reward as well. In a world where the films are more and more made like in a series and following the idea of what you have liked and what you're supposed to like, this film sort of defies this idea. Not just this film, but I think a lot of films that are made nowadays that you can see here at the BFI.
As you said, Willem Dafoe, an incredible actor that's able to sort of traverse the big production, sort of mainstream Hollywood space, as well as indie film. And the fact that, even at this point in his career, still makes fascinating choices. Did you have him in mind for your casting?
Absolutely.
Did you ever dream that you would land him there?
I dream with more abstract or practical things. No, it was sort of, we met in Greece during a screenwriting lab, Oxbelly. And somehow we became acquainted. He showed interest in what I was doing, which was also strange that I was in a screenwriting lab, because I don't usually work with the script. But somehow he was really supportive that if he liked the way we worked, and that we should pursue this and not try to, this was sort of the tension, that I was really trying to make a more, some kind of more of a, I wouldn't call it a traditional, but a more linear kind of a story, in a way, which I did, for sure, no doubt. If you see my other work, this film has more of a character-based film with a central conflict and a central character. But it's still very open to certain tissues of cinema that I'm very attracted to, like elements of digression and this idea of more of a contrapunctal approach to the writing itself, which in my case, it's often in the editing stage. So when we started entertaining the idea with Willem that we could make a film together, I started to elaborate on these materials, and we worked together for a while. It was always a little bit uncertain how it will play out. He would tell me the first days of the shoot when things were really out of control, Gasti, you can't expect us to pull a rabbit out of a hat every day. And I was like, what do you think we're doing? What is our work otherwise? And I'm somehow used to this idea that it's not really the things you're after, but the things you find in the process that eventually work. And that function in my films, at least in my life. Often surprised that people who like my work, then they come to see how it's done, and they say, "What the fuck? What you guys are you doing? Are you out of your mind?" But that's how you make it. At least that's how I make it.
And was there a standout moment on set in the making of it where you did feel like things were particularly challenging, or a moment that you found most rewarding?
It was the most difficult time of my life. I was like, I mean, pardon the metaphor, but sort of like a woman in the labor. Like somehow, like this idea that it's. Of course, I cannot understand this. I soon will have to, because I'm expecting a first son. So, but the idea that somehow you're self-anesthesiated by the very transcendence of what you're doing, and that somehow it's transcending the pain, that it's sort of, you just need to go through it. So I felt this way, but when I saw around me, like those who were there to support the humanity, to support the human aspect of the process, they were like zombies. I saw they had no eyes. So the signs were bad. But I knew day by day we were gathering materials that were good, so I trusted that somehow we will make something. We did, and we did. I mean, the metaphor, the film is called the Souffleur because it's how they call in Austria the theater prompters. The film being also some kind of homage to Willem and to theater, the ideas of manipulation. Of course, there was the metaphor about the falling of a hotel that he's trying to preserve as a manager, and that I play this real estater who's going to buy it and demolish it. And, it's just a tricky metaphor, the idea of a souffle that is not rising, or that rises and collapses in this building that it's said to be demolished.
And in that sense, what do you hope people will go out the cinema thinking about, feeling, I guess, reflecting on, things coming to an end, or legacy? Or...
For sure. I think if there's an emotion that people, identify with, has to do with with this element of a world that some of us experienced before, until the 90s perhaps. But even those who haven't experienced that, they feel some sadness on that, feeling of end of an era, things being lost, not just architecture. I find that, of course, in my films, people who come to see them in festivals or in the art house, they sort of expect what they're going to see. But with Willem, it's sort of a strange situation, because people have no clue what they're coming to see. But at the same time, the film delivers this Willem expectation, because he's really in a very new. I mean, I think you seldom see him so out in the wilderness. So he accomplishes things in the film, the way he dances through these spaces, through this building, and he interacts with these lovely, tender and characters. It's, I think, very unique also for him. That's why, in the end, he also enjoyed it. But yes, definitely there's an element of, unsettledness of these times we're living, and a certain nostalgia.
And what does it mean to you to have the film here at London Film Festival? What's that meant to you?
It's wonderful. I mean, I was here, I used to come a lot to London as a teenage in the 90s. The city also changed a lot. I'm very touched. I just arrived yesterday. I had the first screening. Willem is coming to present it on Sunday. I mean, it's a great festival. I showed the first film of the trilogy at the ICA some years ago, and it was also a very unique experience. No, I love, the humor. There's something very unique about Britain and London, even in this world. And I like, and of course the BFI, it's such an honor.
And what's going to be next? Now this trilogy is done, a whole new frontier?
Yes. I like this idea when children fall off a horse, that they have to put up fast so that they don't get traumatized. I want to jump right at the horse and, make other larger and smaller films, but no more in the middle, because my health can't afford it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me.
Thank you very much.
On the movie.
Thank you so much.
I really enjoyed presenting it here in London. Thank you.